Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Sky. I'm coming on to talk to you about the astrology of the month July 2023, the comprehensive astrology. I'm very excited to be talking to you about this month because whoa, look at all these changes and look at all of these actually like quite miraculous and transcendental energies coming in this month. As usual, I will be doing some intuitive messages about the month ahead and following that with some charts on the screen to talk about some of the specific transits and some of the specific configurations that we're having in July. So yeah, let's get back into it. Pluto is back in Capricorn now. It moved back towards the middle of June from the sign of Aquarius. So a lot of us are moving back into a more familiar territory. A lot of us are having a bit of respite or a sabbatical. I feel like it's a very supported time for vacations. It's a very supported time for taking time back to ourselves and also returning with data or returning with an understanding of what the first few months of Pluto and Aquarius have introduced to us. So I've already made a video on both Pluto and Aquarius and Saturn and Pisces, which are two of the major collective generational planetary changes we've had over the past few months. I will link those videos below if you're curious to get more insights on that. But yeah, we now have Pluto back into Capricorn at that anaretic degree, which is kind of an energy that has people push things to the limit or has people really like try to squeeze blood out of the turnip. Is a common sort of a cliche that I get when I think about Pluto towards the end of Capricorn. It's like really trying to get the margin or really trying to kind of get the ultimate flavor or pull the ultimate kind of final energy out of something. So yes, we are kind of moving back into that in July for the last time for the next quarter millennium. I'm kidding. But yeah, Pluto, it will be a very long time before Pluto is in Capricorn again. But yes, we do have it for a few months here starting in July. Before we continue with the video, I do want to give you an update about my content. Yes, all of the 12 monthly sign-by-sign forecasts are now exclusive to Patreon. Over there, you can find all of the readings ad-free, and you can also get weekly forecasts called T-Chats, where I reflect on the current energies of the general time and talk about upcoming astrology transits. All of this is paired with wonderful audio quality and efficient navigation to help streamline your access to this premium content. So yes, going hand in hand with this update, I am offering a 7-day free trial to my Patreon page, meaning that you can get your first 7 days free. So yes, that will be linked below in the top comment, as well as in the top right-hand corner of this screen. Definitely come and check out the new updated Patreon. We have a lot of really exciting premium content over there, and it's just beautiful and very easy to work with. So thank you all so much, and let's continue with the video. So anyway, as a 29-degree Pluto in Capricorn would, let's get down to business. Yes, so very shifting month in July. We do have the nodes changing sign this month. On the 12th of July, we have the North Node moving from the sign of Taurus to Aries, the South Node moving from the sign of Scorpio to Libra. I will be making a full video about that, so be sure to be subscribed to the channel to get notified when that goes out. I'll be talking about all signs for that transit. Of course, we are moving strongly into Cancer season, and we'll shift into Leo season on the 21st of July. And by the time that Leo season hits, we're going to have a lot of new retrogrades coming in. We're going to be having a Venus-Mars conjunction in Leo as well. And we're going to have a major sort of beaming, glowing energy that starts to adapt our persona a little bit. So I'm seeing for a lot of people, shifts in personality, changes in persona with this nodal axis shift, with Pluto going back into Capricorn for the last time. We are seeing the next phase or the next chapter in full brightness here, and I think that that's probably going to be the most important thing about July. And I'm also seeing a limit. Okay, so this is again just intuitive messages here. I'm seeing that the greater chapter of like June through August of 2023 represents the threshold. And I was talking a little bit about this in the June tarot forecasts last month, which were kind of introducing to me this idea that like there's a major kind of quantum threshold that people are crossing over this 2 or 3 month timeline that represents not pushing a certain limit any longer, or finally not being in a really harsh contract any longer. This is also a month, I feel, July 2023, where it's almost not negotiable, or there are many things that are going to be coming up in a lot of people's lives because of the nodal axis change, and because of this very kind of like, for some people, savvy Plutonian energy of the 29 degree Capricorn Pluto, and then for others also very desperate or very burned out as well. Very overstated, very overexpressed, very oversaturated. I feel that July is a return to center, or at least offers that as an opportunity. So there's kind of a sacred decrease process happening, especially in the Cancer season part of the month, where it's almost like a drought, or it's like there's been something that has been overutilized, overutilization of resources, overutilization of personal energy, life force energy, would lead someone in a month like July 2023 to pull back into their reserves, or to start to pull or save or decrease certain things on the exterior, almost like the as if there were like a drought and the spring or the body of water kind of recedes back into the underground area, where it sort of begins to reservoir or build its resources back once more. So how that's the main symbol that I'm getting for this general period of time in July, especially during Cancer season. It changes a little bit once we hit Leo season, for people who aren't too burned out, or people who aren't like just like in a very desperate place. It will already be complete by Leo season, but then there are going to be some people who have to spend many months or many cycles just restoring what they've overcommitted to, or restoring the energy that it took to overcommit. So how this might be channeling in a very obvious or mundane way is seeing things starting to shut down, okay, or seeing cancellations, seeing failures. I think that July could be kind of a recession type of energy. I'm not just talking economically, but that sort of mental visual image that I'm getting is exactly that. It's like a receding of the previous output, or what was previously in abundance begins to be, interestingly, reneged upon a little bit. And I'm interested as to why I'm getting this as a psychic message, because my logical brain is actually kind of like telling me a little bit otherwise. It's like, actually, a lot of people have like a new abundance coming in, or there's a certain like lack of limitation or infinite universal stream coming in here. So we have opposing forces. And even though some people get sort of an infinite amount of energy, time, money during this time, I'm actually seeing that because of the infinite nature of it, people become more careful or become more cautious because of the innate power having to channel through one entity, one person, or one just one channel, one connecting point. So this is an interesting little spiritual phenomenon that I feel July is introducing to us, is like during those times of lack, poverty, difficulty, or decrease, a lot of us have wanted so much, or have wanted to try to increase what we have. And now that there's more, or now that there's a greater abundance, we treat it more carefully, or we treat it with more care and more deliberation as well. So people may not be spending as frivolously beginning in July, especially in Cancer season. And I also feel that some people won't be saving so frivolously either. So it's kind of like, we can apply this to like money or energy or any of those constructs, but it's a redo, or it's a re-examination of the parameters that a lot of people have placed on how they spend or exert their energy. And this becomes absolutely like undeniable during July. So a lot of people have been kind of feeling it for a long time, or been like, you know what, I need to save more money, or you know what, I have things that are like really out of order in my life. I've got to like spend to alleviate some of these problems. It can go towards either extreme, because actually both of those mindsets represent some form of decrease, whether we're decreasing our spending of time, money, energy to save more, or whether we're tapping into to the reservoir or the reserve to decrease the scrambled or improperly consolidated aspects of our life by solving problems through spending time, money, energy. It's a decrease of the previous status quo, and that's really, I think, one of the main key words for both June and July has been decrease, and specifically themed around this concept of like growing from within or growing from the reservoir out, as opposed to the sort of exterior receptions, if you know what I mean. So like tapping into the inner resources instead of relying on other people to fill the gap, instead of relying on things outside to fill the gap, is kind of like the most sacred version of Cancer energy, right? The sign of Cancer having rulership over this type of idea where it's like what is inside or what has been built over a long period of time can energize moving forward, rather than, being in very codependent bonds or relying on another person to give us, relying on that employer to completely finance us, relying on that significant other to give us emotional energy or to give us that feeling of safety. We're rebalancing the degree to which our reliances or our dependencies exist. So take a look in July at where those are. Again, Pluto and Capricorn at this late degree would reveal any like toxic or desperate or problematic contracts or bonds or dependencies. And it's definitely recommendable to get those cut off now, so that we have more time, space, and energy to consider how things could be better in the future. And by the time we're hitting Leo season, even by like the middle of the month, like the 15th of July to the like 21st, 22nd of July, a lot of people have a much more enhanced light body from trusting themselves enough to really bring things up to date, or to really renegotiate or redo some of the systems in their lives, and starting to journey more with a lighter spectrum, or a spectrum that trusts in what has been known to be real or known to be continuing of the greater personalized essential growth spectrum. So that's kind of difficult to articulate, but I think that it's very important, because what I've seen basically over these last few years is like people having a very polarized deliberation process between like, okay, do I do what's stable, what's contracted, what's known, and what works as a routine, as a sort of like fixed construct in my life, or do I follow some type of inherent gut feeling to like kind of jet off to a different aspect of my experience or try something new? So for each person, it depends. It depends on how passionate they are about what they're considering as a new leaf in their life or a new expansion. But if that is strong, or if it's something that you can't like not think about every day, like if you have like these new goals or these new dreams or these new ideas that have become like a daily part of your life, I think it's important to follow those and to maybe trust that these older commitments will either work out, or that they maybe also be being questioned to like how much they still need to be in your life. So just taking the lighter path, or taking the more flexible, more motivated, more inspired path, I think is most indicated with this astrology. But yes, on that note, I'm going to pull up the charts onto the screen here. I'm just pulling them up so that I can see as well, and noting down the timestamp. Let's see. Okay. Yes, so on the left we have the 1st of July, and then on the right we have the 31st of July. Okay, so at a level of Rorschach, I feel that we're coming into the month of July very open and very expansive. So we're really journeying in this Cancer season with the way that we want to expand from the inside out. So this isn't just like societal ideas on expansion. This isn't just like what other people in our lives want us to do. This is that internal reservoir kind of like dictating or highlighting what expansion could be like. I feel that by the time we move from that beginning point and transition through the month, that we start to really shift things into a different direction. So if you see like the actual chart pattern, it's kind of like things kind of shift to the right a little bit, and there is more of a turning point that's going to be happening this month, where people are also kind of like triangulating, or there is a way in which certain long-running, sort of like hard to figure out or difficult to determine issues in life become like triangulated. So like this all-encompassing business or this all-encompassing relationship that I don't understand starts to have three main parts that are easier to work with or easier to comprehend. In that way, I also feel like there could be manipulation in relationships, or even weird political dynamics, like in people's lives, like people kind of working against each other. And I think that a big part of July is coming out of these conflicted personal relationships and moving more towards higher education for some people, or higher ideas, higher pursuits. And then for other people, like really starting to clean up some of the relationship grid, I feel is something that's important for this month ahead. Speaking a little bit about the astrology, so as you see on the left chart, we're starting the month with the Sun conjunct Mercury exactly in Cancer, which is going to be a really nice time to check back in with ourselves and really hone that inner reservoir, really build up the internal energy. Whenever you have a Sun conjunct Mercury, it's happens quite often, but it's just a nice little short-term transit to really bridge the gap between the real life experience and what we're thinking about. So the mind and the body coming into conjunction, right, with the Sun and Mercury. And in the sign of the mother, in the sign of the nurturing, emotionally relevant cardinal water sign of Cancer. So some of us have to like get on board with our emotional maturity. Some of us have to like actually do what resonates now and not just think about it any longer. That's definitely how I would interpret that Sun conjunct Mercury, is not just thinking about what's going to work, not just thinking about what feels good to us, but actually acting and doing what feels good to us. Now, we also start the month with a very close Venus and Mars in the sign of Leo. This is great. This is going to be healing up a lot of people at a very body level. Okay, so I'm seeing that a lot of people's like diets are working out. A lot of people's new styles, new personas, new exercise regimens are really bearing fruit. People who are very lucky, people who are doing well in their life right now, are going to be seeing the first fruits of what we've been talking about really since about January of this year, where we were like coming through with that understanding of reduction and efficiency and optimization. So the first fruits of that are here, and congratulations to those of you doing well. Some people's budgets are leading to big surpluses now. Some people are doing well dating. Some people are having nice kinship and friendships bloom during this time. I really think that it's a wonderful month for community, a wonderful month for friendship, a wonderful month for creating new networks of people, enjoying company, laughter, humor, and healing the body and the self-concept through humor, through fun, and through laughter. Okay, things really aren't as serious here in July, you guys. It's a very nice respite. I'm going to tell you, by the year 2024, we are back into serious games. We are back into high stakes, like, situations, and why not take a little bit of time out here to try new things, or to enjoy the company of people who you love to be around, or to make new friends, to go out on a date. I don't know. There's a lot of ways that we can really give ourselves a more human kind of experience here, and it actually be contributive to a spiritual journey, and not just be like kind of, you know, flotsam and jetsam in our experience, or kind of like sideline us away from the spiritual path. The beginning of July especially is really, really nice for giving ourselves what we need and it being right, or it being not regrettable. So yes, of course, as we start to look at the end of the month, what a different chart we have. It's really kind of, I think, bittersweet for a lot of people, seeing these nodes change into the sign of Aries and Libra. So we've done it. The thing for a lot of people has happened. The like big goal or the big effort or the huge kind of like commitment is done. And it's not to say that it doesn't stack or the momentum doesn't continue, but yes, now we're going to have a very different paradigm here. We're going to, for some people, like through the efforts of the previous two nodal paradigms of Taurus, Scorpio, and Sag, Gemini, through those efforts, they're going to like really be doing a lot better for a very long time to come. And then also there's review and there's accounting, and there is a lot of like general thought about what was previously done and asking if it was like the right choice or not. I feel that there's a lot of that kind of thing coming up here. But of course I will be talking about that in a dedicated video. Also, we have the Venus-Mars conjunction having split up during that time. We have Mars being in Virgo, which is, it's an okay placement for Mars. It's not the greatest, but generally our Mars energy, that sacred masculine energy, should be doing a lot better after Mars has gone through Leo. So a lot of us should be feeling a lot more direct, and like we don't have to, blur lines, or we don't have to be confused about how to express ourselves. There's a much more clear, direct masculine energy for people by the end of July, which is good to see. And Mercury also is moving into the sign of Virgo by the end of July, which of course Mercury is at home in Virgo. So this period of time that we spend in the beginning of the month with the conjunction in Cancer leads to a much healthier mind. This is a great, wonderful time to work on mental health. The month of July 2023, very, very good for healing trauma, for also getting more efficient systems, for eating better, for sleeping better, anything that supports both physical and mental health, as I'm seeing a lot of potential in the month of July for all forms of health, spiritual, physical, mental, relationship. Great month for any form of direct healing like that. Now, it's not as good of a month for very indirect, passive, or poetic forms of healing. And I think that that's where people can get held up a little bit this month, is like, okay, so I haven't solved the diet problem, or I haven't solved the sleep problem, but what I am doing is I'm figuring out how like isolation or how like difficulty in the past is actually giving me more now, and I'm like striking off on all of these kind of like heavy paths. Let's really try to come through that here and start to just find simple solutions, simple efficiencies, and allow maybe the spiritual continuum to connect through that instead of through difficulties or hardships. We really want to see a shedding of hardships in the month of July. This Leo energy is great for that, for burning away those hardships, and for trusting in the motivation that we have now, or for trusting in also like the healthy body, or the more attractive option, or the more, you know how sometimes people get weird with this? It's like, I have two options in front of me. One is very attractive, but I don't trust it because it seems too good to be true. And then the other option is kind of like bleak and scary, but it's kind of like riveting because of that. Important to kind of switch out of anything like this and really just go for the more attractive, more healthy options. I mean, abundance can sometimes be hard to find when we don't have it on the earth plane. So if you're finding an option to have it, I would trust that, and I would go with the attractive, obvious, transparent, abundant, efficient energy lines here, instead of the dark, mysterious unknowns, because there's just going to be plenty of that no matter what with the Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces, and Chiron and Aries. I just made a long list of videos that many of you probably already saw in my 7 Days of Solstice series. I've made videos focusing on Neptune and Chiron. which are both kind of mysterious, unknown presences that we're having right now. So definitely check out those videos. I will link them below. And also, everyone, yes, I have made individual star sign readings for all 12 signs of the zodiac, which are exclusive this oncoming July to Patreon. They are wonderful. They're ad-free. They are seamless. They are a wonderful way to support this channel, and I believe that I should be having a video coming, if it's not already posted, about my general channel update and what my efforts are looking like moving forward here, as this is a period of time for me to also be becoming more efficient and for streamlining what I'm doing here on YouTube as well. So if that video is already available, I will link it below. And yes, as I said, all of a wonderful July. Come check out the Patreon page. There's a free 7-day trial to it, so you can try before you buy, and I think that that's a very generous offer during this time. So come check it out. It's a great service, and I really enjoyed filming for this month, as the also the format of the readings are different now. So come check it out, everyone, and have a wonderful July ahead. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you. Bye.